You ever notice how easy it is to be committed until it isn't? The first week of a new goal feels electric. The journal is clean, the schedule is tight, the energy is high, and then life happens. Distractions show up, results move slower than you hoped. Someone criticizes, you miss a day, then two, and suddenly the thing that was once non-negotiable becomes, I'll get back to it when I have time. If that's ever happened to you, listen closely. The problem isn't that you're weak. The problem is that you were relying on emotion, not structure. And emotion is the first thing to leave when the work gets real. This message is for anyone who has started and stopped more times than they can count. For the person who knows they're capable of more but keeps slipping. For the one who is dangerously close to quitting right now. Don't stop. Don't walk away. Not yet. Stay with me to the end of this message, and you'll leave with a system, a mindset, habits and safeguards that will carry you when your feelings collapse. Because the secret to staying consistent isn't hype. It's design. Let's build it. Consistency begins where emotion ends. When you rely on feeling motivated, you'll be faithful in good weather and missing in the storm. But storms build people. So you need something stronger than, I feel like it. You need commitment attached to identity. When you shift from, I'm trying to work out, to I'm a person who trains, everything changes. Identity pulls you forward. On the days motivation lets go of your hand. Here's how real consistency works. Tiny, repeatable actions done on a schedule you can keep. Most people fail not because their goals are too big, but because their daily plan is unrealistic. They set 2-hour sessions for a habit they've never done. Then life interrupts, they miss, and shame steps in. Start smaller than your ego wants. 5 focused minutes done daily beats 2 heroic sessions done once and abandoned. Pre-decide your priorities. You cannot negotiate with yourself in tired moments and win. Decide in advance. When do you do the work? Where? For how long? What counts as showing up? Protect that block like it's a meeting with your future. When the moment comes and your body says, skip it, your calendar says, we don't skip identity. Your environment is either pushing you toward your commitment or pulling you away. Remove friction from starting, add friction to quitting. Lay out your tools the night before. Preload your project. Cue your reminder with an alarm labeled with your why. If walking away requires 10 clicks, you'll hesitate. If starting requires 1 tap, you'll begin. Consistency is often won in the setup. Let's talk about measurement. When results are slow, the mind invents lies. This isn't working, why bother? That's why you must track what's within your control. Sessions completed, reps, minutes, pages written, outreach done, progress you can see keeps hope alive when outcomes lag behind effort. A visible streak is powerful. You won't want to break it. And listen carefully. Dips, delays, and doubt are part of the plan. Expect them. Write it in. Week 3, dip likely. When it happens, you nod and keep going. Most people quit in predictable valleys they never prepared for. If you know the valley is coming, you pack food, faith, and a flashlight. What about the days you actually miss? Here's the rule: never miss twice. Missing happens. Quitting happens when missed days multiply. If yesterday fell apart, today is a reset, not a verdict. Re-enter immediately, even with a shortened session. Your goal is to protect rhythm, not perfection. Now let's go deeper. Consistency dies when purpose fades. You started for a reason. What was it? Write it, speak it, see it daily. Tie your effort to people you love, a mission bigger than comfort, a spiritual calling, a promise to your past self. When your why is weak, distraction is strong. When your why burns, excuses melt. Let me ask you directly, where are you about to quit? What goal is on life support? Health, study, prayer, content creation, a business, a relationship you're supposed to invest in? Before you walk away, install this. Identity: I am the kind of person who shows up. Minimum daily standard: the smallest action that keeps the flame alive. Scheduled time block: non-negotiable. Visual tracker: paper, app, wall. Mark it. Pre-written why, read before each session. Do this for 30 days and watch what happens to your confidence. You don't need to feel strong to be consistent. Consistency makes you strong. You don't need to feel ready to show up. Showing up makes you ready. Every repeated act lays a brick. Missed bricks happen. Keep building. Over weeks, you look back and realize the wall stood because you laid something down, even on the days you wanted to quit. If you're still here, it means something in you refuses to give up. Good. Hold that. Now choose one area of your life and apply the system. Tonight, prep the environment. Tomorrow, take the first rep. Track it. Repeat. When you want to quit, watch this again. Not because you need another speech, but because you need to remember who you decided to be. The truth is, most people confuse motivation with commitment. They think, if I feel good, I'll do the work. If I feel bad, I'll wait until I'm ready. But here's the reality. Feelings are fragile. They're driven by sleep, weather, opinions, hormones, and headlines you can't control. If your progress depends on how you feel today, you'll never finish what matters tomorrow. The moment emotion fades, so does your effort. And that's why so many people start strong and end silently. They build their dream on the sand of inspiration instead of the rock of discipline. Consistency doesn't ask how you feel, it asks, will you show up anyway? Champions aren't the ones who always feel motivated, they're the ones who built a system that carries them through emotional droughts. They understand a simple principle: emotion gets you started, but habits keep you moving. Think about it. Everyone feels good on day one. Everyone is on fire in the beginning. That's not the test. The test is week 4. When nobody is cheering, when results are crawling, when you'd rather scroll than sweat, when the couch whispers louder than your goals. That's when the majority break. And that's when the committed rise. Why? Because they made a decision that outlived their mood. They said, whether I feel like it or not, I move. That's the shift that separates amateurs from professionals in every area of life. If a pilot only flew when they felt like flying, planes would never leave the ground. If a parent only showed up when they felt like parenting, homes would collapse. You cannot build anything lasting on the foundation of fleeting feelings. Here's the secret: stop waiting for a mood to make a move. Start building habits that don't ask for permission from your emotions. Set times, set places, create rituals. You don't brush your teeth because you feel hyped about toothpaste. You brush because it's who you are. Treat your goal the same way. When your identity says, I'm a person who honors my commitments, your actions follow, even when motivation is missing. So let me ask you, what's one area of your life where you've been waiting to feel ready? Fitness, a business idea, a personal goal? Stop waiting. Feelings are visitors. They come and go. Discipline is a resident. Install it. Decide today that you will keep your word to yourself when the mood is gone. Because here's the truth. The future doesn't belong to the most excited. It belongs to the most consistent. And consistency begins, right here, right now, where motion ends. Most people wait for the perfect mood before taking action. They say things like, I'll do it when I feel ready, or I just need to get in the right mindset first. But the truth is, feelings are unreliable. They rise and fall like waves. controlled by circumstances you can't predict. If you build your life on feelings, your progress will always be inconsistent. The people who win in life are not those who feel like showing up every day. They're the ones who made a decision that stands even when their feelings don't. Discipline is the bridge between goals and results. And here's the secret. That bridge is built one choice at a time. Every time you act when you don't feel like it, you strengthen that bridge. Every time you skip because you're not in the mood, you weaken it. Over time, that pattern becomes your destiny. Think about that. Your future isn't shaped by what you dream. It's shaped by what you do when you don't feel like doing anything. Feelings make great servants but terrible masters. If you let them lead, they'll pull you in every direction but forward. That's why discipline must take the wheel. Discipline says, I show up, not because I feel it, but because I said I would. And that's powerful because the moment you keep a promise to yourself, you build trust with yourself. When you trust yourself, confidence grows. When confidence grows, results follow. But it starts with a decision, a clear, uncompromising decision that your actions will never be negotiable based on mood. Ask yourself, how many dreams have you delayed waiting for motivation? How many goals have you abandoned because you were tired, frustrated, or uninspired? That cycle ends when you stop worshiping feelings and start honoring commitments. Greatness is not emotional, it's intentional. It doesn't live in the hype of a good day. It's forged in the quiet consistency of hard days. The question is, what decision do you need to make today that will outlast your feelings tomorrow? Will you decide to write that page, go for that run, make that call, even when every part of you says, not now? Because if you do, something incredible happens. Your mind begins to submit to your will. Your feelings stop dictating your life. Your choices start shaping your future. So here's the truth. Stop asking, do I feel like it? And start declaring, I will do it because I chose it. Discipline isn't about killing emotion. It's about leading it. When you master that, quitting will no longer be an option. You will move forward regardless. And that's where real transformation begins. The truth about motivation is simple. It's unreliable. Motivation is like a spark. It ignites quickly, but if there's no fuel, it burns out just as fast. You've felt it before. Maybe after watching an inspiring video, you told yourself, this is it, I'm going to change my life. You started strong, full of energy, ready to conquer everything in your path. But a few days later, reality hit. The excitement faded, and suddenly, everything felt heavy. The same goal that seemed exciting now feels like a burden. Why does that happen? Because motivation isn't built to last. Motivation is emotional, and emotions are unstable. They shift based on circumstances. Good news lifts you up, bad news drags you down. If you rely on motivation alone, your progress will always be at the mercy of your feelings. This is why so many people start something big, full of hope, but quit the moment things get uncomfortable. They confuse inspiration for commitment. Inspiration feels good, but it doesn't finish the race. What does finish the race? Consistency. Consistency is the quiet power that beats excitement every time. It doesn't care about moods. It doesn't ask, do you feel like it? Consistency says we show up no matter what. That's the difference between dreamers and doers. Dreamers rely on moments of motivation. Doers rely on systems of consistency. The people who win in life aren't the ones who felt motivated every day. They're the ones who acted on days they didn't. They're the ones who acted on days they didn't. Think of a farmer. He doesn't plant seeds only when he feels inspired. He plants because the season demands it. Success works the same way. It's not about what you do occasionally when motivation hits. It's about what you do repeatedly when it doesn't. Your habits determine your future more than your emotions ever will. Every time you choose consistency over comfort, you're building momentum. And momentum is a force far greater than motivation. Ask yourself, how much of your life have you spent starting over because you quit too soon? How many times have you let the high of motivation fade into the frustration of inconsistency? If you're tired of that cycle, the solution isn't finding more motivation, it's building habits that outlast motivation. The truth is, you don't need to feel good to do great things. You just need to do them over and over until they become automatic. So let this be your turning point. Stop chasing the feeling and start honoring the process. Because at the end of the day, motivation might light the match, but only consistency keeps the fire burning. And if you stay consistent long enough, success stops being a dream. It becomes your reality. Most people try to change their lives by changing their schedule. They download a planner, build a routine, set alarms, and chase productivity hacks. But if the person doing the routine still believes, deep down, I always fall off, I can't stick with things, or I'm not disciplined, the system collapses. Why? Because identity overrides strategy. You will eventually act like the kind of person you believe you are. If your internal label is inconsistent, your external effort will always drift back to inconsistency, no matter how good the plan looks on paper. Real transformation begins when you rewrite the story you tell yourself about you. Activity is behavior, identity is blueprint. When the blueprint says, I'm the kind of person who shows up, showing up gets easier. When the blueprint says, I finish what I start, quitting feels out of character. This is why elite performers, spiritual leaders, top athletes, and builders of great work protect identity fiercely. They know that behavior flows from belief. Get the inside right, and the outside follows. So how do you stack identity first? You link small, repeatable actions to a declared identity and reinforce it aloud. After you complete even a tiny rep, 1 page written, 10 push-ups, 5 minutes of study, you say, that's me. I keep my word. At first it feels awkward, maybe even untrue. Stay with it. Identity is installed through repetition plus evidence. Each completed rep is evidence. Each declaration is reinforcement. Over time, your mind stops arguing and starts accepting. This is who we are now. Guard your language. Words are identity glue. Stop saying, I'm so inconsistent, I'm lazy, I always fall off. Those aren't jokes, they're instructions. Replace them with identity statements tied to action. I show up daily, I don't miss twice, I end what I begin. Speak them before the work, after the work, and when you feel like skipping the work. Your words pull your behavior back into alignment. Environment also reflects identity. Put visual anchors where you work. A calendar streak, a card that says builder, a sticky note that reads finish. Surround yourself with people who live the identity you're claiming. Proximity normalizes the standard. If everyone around you trains, reads, builds, or prays daily, you will too. Because belonging pressures identity, and identity powers behavior. Here's the test. The next time you don't feel like doing what you committed to, don't argue with mood, appeal to identity. Say, what does a consistent person do right now? Then do that, even in miniature. That tiny alignment is how identity hardens. And once identity hardens, consistency stops being a fight and becomes a reflex. Change the label, change the lifestyle. Identity first, activity follows. That's how you stay in the game when quitting looks easier. One of the greatest reasons people quit when they feel tired or discouraged is the illusion of perfection. We live in a culture obsessed with flawless execution. Perfect bodies, perfect businesses, perfect timing. This obsession sets a trap. If the result isn't immaculate, the effort feels wasted. You start believing, if I can't do it perfectly, why do it at all? That belief silently kills more dreams than failure ever could. Perfection is a moving target. Even if you hit it today, the standard shifts tomorrow. So you spend your energy chasing an ideal that doesn't exist, rather than appreciating the ground you've already covered. And here's the truth. Perfection is not the goal. Progress is. Progress is measurable, tangible, and achievable in small steps. Every time you choose progress over perfection, you build momentum. Every time you celebrate progress, you fuel consistency. Think of a sculptor shaping a block of stone. The masterpiece doesn't appear in one perfect strike. It emerges from thousands of imperfect chisels. Each strike matters because it moves the vision closer to reality. Life works the same way. The workout that wasn't your best still counts. The business call that didn't close still taught you something. The prayer that felt dry still strengthened your spirit. Imperfect effort is not wasted effort, it's compounded progress. When you measure yourself against perfection, you measure against something you can never fully achieve. That guarantees frustration. But when you measure against yesterday's version of you, progress becomes visible, and visible progress is motivating. The gap between where you were and where you are now becomes proof that you can move further. Small wins stacked over time create the giant victories everyone admires. Falling in love with progress means redefining success. Success is not flawless execution. Success is showing up again after you stumbled. Success is improving by 1%, not by 100 overnight. Success is keeping promises to yourself even when they feel small. Those micro victories build trust. And trust in yourself is the foundation of consistency. Here's the key. Stop asking, was it perfect? Start asking, was it progress? When you shift that question, your mindset changes from judgment to growth. Suddenly, mistakes aren't evidence of failure, they're stepping stones to mastery. And when you view mistakes as steps, you stop fearing them. That removes the fear that drives people to quit. Progress is honest. Progress is empowering. Perfection is an illusion that enslaves. If you want to stay consistent, let go of the fantasy and hold on to the process. Celebrate your effort, not your flawlessness. Chase better, not best, because better is sustainable, best is imaginary. And the person who chooses better every day will eventually look perfect to everyone else without ever aiming for it. Consistency thrives where progress is praised. Fall in love with that, and quitting will lose its power over you. When the desire to quit feels overwhelming, it's almost always because you've lost sight of why you started in the first place. Purpose is the fuel that drives persistence. Without it, effort feels meaningless. But when your why is strong, it becomes the anchor that holds you steady in the storm of challenges. The truth is, motivation fades, excitement dies down. Even passion can feel distant when life piles on pressure. That's when your why becomes critical. It's the deeper reason that goes beyond convenience or comfort. It's not about what you're doing, it's about why you're doing it. Are you working to break a cycle in your family? To create freedom for your children? To fulfill a calling you can't ignore? Those are the reasons that keep you standing when everything else tells you to sit down. Every great achievement in history was born from a strong why. People who endure hardship, sacrifice sleep, and push through pain aren't necessarily stronger or smarter. They're anchored by something bigger than themselves. When the goal is just about money or recognition, it's easy to quit because those things don't satisfy the soul. But when your why touches your identity, your values, and your vision for life, quitting stops feeling like an option. If you feel like giving up today, pause and remember why you began. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Visualize the life on the other side of your consistency. Ask yourself, what will it cost me if I quit now? What will I lose? Who will I let down? Often, the cost of quitting is greater than the pain of continuing. Your why will remind you of that truth. Here's the key. Make your purpose visible every day. Put reminders where you can see them. A note on your mirror, an image on your phone, a mantra on your desk. Because when you see your why, your mind stays focused. And focus is the antidote to fatigue. Your why is also what transforms discipline from a burden into a privilege. You don't drag yourself out of bed because you love pain. You do it because you love what your purpose promises. You don't endure rejection because you enjoy suffering. You endure because you know what's at stake if you stop. That perspective changes everything. Hey, Triggs. So when quitting feels easier than continuing, go back to the reason that made you start. Reconnect with it, feel it, own it. Because the person who knows their why can survive any how. Your purpose is your compass. If you hold on to it, you will never lose your way. No matter how strong you are mentally, no matter how driven you believe yourself to be, isolation is the enemy of consistency. When you fight your battles alone, every obstacle feels 10 times heavier. The temptation to quit grows louder because there's no voice reminding you of who you are and why you started. That's why accountability and support aren't optional. They are essential tools for resilience. Think about it. The most successful people in the world don't operate in solitude. Athletes have coaches, business leaders have mentors, students have teachers. Even in nature, strength often comes in community. Lions hunt in prides, birds migrate in flocks. Why? Because progress requires reinforcement. We need people around us who can hold us up when our strength runs low. Accountability creates a structure that keeps you committed even when motivation fades. When someone is counting on you, quitting doesn't feel like a personal choice anymore. It feels like breaking a promise. This doesn't mean you need a crowd. Sometimes just one person who truly believes in your potential can make the difference between giving up and pushing forward. Find that person. It could be a mentor, a friend, a family member, or even an online community pursuing the same goals. Support also gives you perspective. When you're tired and overwhelmed, it's easy to exaggerate your struggles. Everything feels bigger than it is. But when you share your burden with someone, they can help you see reality. They can remind you of your progress, your strengths, and the times you overcame before. Sometimes all you need is a voice saying, "You've got this. Keep going." Here's the truth. Consistency is a team sport. Yes, the work is yours, but the journey doesn't have to be lonely. When you surround yourself with people who push you higher, who challenge your excuses, who celebrate your small wins, the weight of the journey feels lighter. And when the day comes that you want to quit, those people will be the reason you don't. And so build your circle intentionally. Choose people who lift you, not those who drain you. Align yourself with others who are pursuing growth because their energy will ignite yours. Share your goals with them. Ask them to check on you. Give them permission to call you out when you start slipping. This level of accountability is not weakness, it's wisdom. Remember this. You were not designed to do life alone. Your dream is too big for isolation. Consistency thrives in the soil of community. And accountability is the sunlight that helps it grow. Surround yourself with the right people, and even when you feel like quitting, their belief in you will reignite your belief in yourself. Everyone slips. Everyone misses a day, skips a workout, breaks a streak, loses focus, blows the plan. The difference between those who eventually succeed and those who disappear is not that the successful never miss. It's that they recover immediately. They don't turn one missed day into a lost week. They don't let embarrassment become avoidance. They reset fast. That reset is the real engine of long-term consistency. Here's what destroys momentum. Shame plus delay. You miss once, you feel guilty. So you avoid the work because the guilt is uncomfortable. Another day passes. Now, you're not just behind. You've built a story. I'm off track. I always do this. Maybe I'll restart next month. Momentum bleeds out in the gap between the first slip and your next action. Close that gap and you save the streak. even if the calendar shows a break. Adopt this rule: never miss twice. If yesterday failed, today counts double. Even a shortened scaled-down session qualifies. 5 minutes, not 50? Good. A single set, not a full workout? Still counts. 1 page written, not 10? Mark it. Your goal is rhythm, not record setting. By lowering the restart barrier, you rebuild identity faster than perfection ever could. This matters neurologically and emotionally. Each time you resume after a miss, you teach your brain that a lapse is a moment, not an identity. You wire resilience instead of regret. Your self-talk shifts from "I blew it" to "I bounce back." That internal shift preserves confidence, and confidence preserves consistency. Planning the comeback in advance makes recovery automatic. When you establish a missed protocol, if I skip, I complete a minimum rep the next day before noon. Decision fatigue disappears. You don't debate getting back, you execute the rule. Stack visual accountability. Circle missed days. Highlight recovery days, and watch how quickly bounce backs become normal. Also, speak about the miss accurately. Say, "I missed a session," not "I fell off." Language frames possibility. One is an event, the other is identity collapse. Guard the difference. Remember, long-term success is a messy graph, trending upward, not a straight line. The greatest builders, creators, athletes, and spiritual giants all have gaps in their journals. What unites them is this: they returned quickly, repeatedly, without drama. So the next time you break your plan, don't waste energy rewriting your whole life. Just re-enter 1 rep, 1 call, 1 prayer, 1 page. Mark it. Momentum restored. Consistency lives in that comeback, and so does your future.